destruction of the second temple. A temple was built, and then it was destroyed, and then another temple was built. And when that one was destroyed, the people were dispersed, the Jews were dispersed all around the world. Now, the uniqueness of this synagogue is that it happened to be that the legend goes that Jews were being taken from Jerusalem to Rome as slaves on a ship. And the ship wrecked on the coast of Greece, and they established a community there during the Byzantine Roman Empire. This is way before where my personal family came from, a Sephardic background, where that was the Spanish Inquisition, which happened in 1492. So these are Greek-speaking Jews that were in this community in Greece, even before Greece was a Catholic Christian nation. There are even Greeks that don't know that there were Jews living in the country. So Jews were spread out all around the world. They only spoke Greek. They lived in Greece for thousands of years, and then the Sephardic, my people, came from Spain in 1492 with them carrying the Spanish language, because we speak this unique dialect called Ladino, if you've ever heard about it. Yeah. It's an old Castilian Spanish that was taken by the Jews who lived in Spain with the Muslims, the Moors, when Spain was dominated by the Moors. Wow. Then after, if you ever saw the movie El Cid, when they kicked everybody out of Spain, and Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand said, all right, they said to the Jewish people, if you convert, or we burn you at the stake, which they did, or you leave. And what happened was, ships would come from the Balkans, from the Ottoman Empire, and they said, okay, we will take your Jewish people, and they moved to that part of the world, Greece and Turkey. But this congregation was in Greece thousands of years before. We've been here for almost 90 years on the Lower East Side, and we are one of a handful of synagogues that remain. At the turn of the century, the Lower East Side was the sort of the end place for Jews coming into the country. There were over 500 synagogues within this area on the Lower East Side. Many of them including Syrian Jews and Turkish Jews and Greek Jews and Ashkenazic Jews that spoke Yiddish. And the funny thing was, the Yiddish-speaking Ashkenazic Jews really didn't even know about the Sephardic Jews who spoke Spanish. And the story goes in my family, my uncle who married an Ashkenazic woman, they didn't even know that he was Jewish because he didn't speak Yiddish. If you didn't speak Yiddish, which is a dialect of German and a couple of other languages, you weren't considered Jewish, because that's the community they knew. Remember, we were spread around the world, so you really only knew what you knew around your own area. We are now part of a conservancy on the Lower East Side. There are 5 synagogues. We are one of 2 remaining tenement-style synagogues. As you can see, the structure of this building is a tenement style. And that's the way all the buildings were, so that's the way they made this synagogue. Now, if you go to the suburbs, synagogues are more spread out, and they have big buildings, and they have parking lots and everything. But this is the way it used to be. This is an Orthodox congregation, which means the men and women do not sit together. The men sit downstairs, the women sit upstairs. We still hold services every Shabbat, every Saturday, and all the holidays. We are still functioning, and we are now becoming the repository of Greek Jewish history, especially about the Holocaust. And I will personally invite you, because May 31st, we're having the first Greek Jewish festival ever in New York City. Right outside here on Broome Street, on Sunday from 12 to 6. We are going to have music, food, dancing, activities. So you're all invited to come and spend a nice afternoon here. It's going to be a wonderful event.
Thank you so much.
Any questions?
No. That's pretty interesting, though.
How old is this building?
This building the congregation was established in 1907. The building was built around 26 or 27.
And how many people come here still?
Well, we have a small core group that come here. The majority of the people, this is a cute thing I say. Most of the Greek Jews lived across the street in those 4 buildings that you see across the street. They would watch their kids grow up over here. They'd play stickball on the street. But the Lower East Side at one time in history was the most densely populated area in the world practically. So people that were living here couldn't wait to move out. So now what's happened is that the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of those people who used to live here can't wait to move back over here. Because now the Lower East Side is the place to be. When they would pay $25 a month rent, now the average apartment here is going for $3,000 a month rent, just to show you the difference. So New York is very strange. It starts in one place and it's like a big circle and it comes back to where it was before, of course with a lot more money. There are dynamic changes in this neighborhood that are happening, which we look upon as really in a sad way. Many times old institutions die away and you lose that essence of a neighborhood. We are trying to hold on to what this neighborhood was. We are losing an institution that was on Rivington Street. You know, this Friday night is the beginning of Passover, and one of the most important things about Passover is the matzah. There was a big matzah factory. It's still there. It's going to be closed soon, called Stripes. It's been there over 100 years. There are two other institutions that are staying. One is called Economy Candy on Rivington Street. Has anybody ever been there? Well, if you've never been there, you have to go. It's Rivington, between Ludlow and Essex. And now the great-grandson of the man that started the business is staying in the business. And it's a candy store. You go in, you have a great time because you can pick out any kind of candy you've ever thought about. The third place is Russ and Daughters, which is an appetizing store on Houston Street. And they specialize in fishes. And I don't know if you've ever heard of lox. You know what lox is? Jewish people have lox and cream cheese. Lox is smoked salmon. The salmon that they tell everybody to eat now. Well, it's smoked salmon, and it's delicious. You put it on a bagel with cream cheese and lox, it's like heaven. Their institution is also almost 100 years old, and they opened up a new business on Orchard Street. So there are some people that are staying. There's a new development coming up on Essex and Delancey Street. It's going to change the character of the Lower East Side. So what I'm trying to say is that even though we want development in New York, we want New York to still have a sense of what it is and what it was. And it goes through for any neighborhood that you lived in also. You don't want to see it change too dramatically because you want to be able to, like, what's her name in the hood? What's her name? From the Bronx?
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez. She always says Jenny in the hood. So that's the way we feel about our neighborhood. We're very proud of this neighborhood. It went up from a wonderful place, then in the 70s it went down, and now it's back on this tremendous upswing. So I'm glad you guys stopped in. If you have any other questions, you can look up on our website. We have a wonderful website called kkjsm.org. And on that website, every month our museum director puts out a newsletter which gives you information about our community and events that are going on in the city that's related to Greek Jewry. Any questions? These lights you see, these are memorial boards. When someone passes away, traditionally, you put a memorial plaque, and once a year you celebrate a memorial date for when they passed away. And that's why the lights are on for those people that are up for memorials.
I have a question. Do you have to be Greek in order to come here, or you?
No, of course not.
Okay, I just wanted
Yes,
to check it out.
the melodies and the rhythm of the service is more Sephardic, which is what I told you about from Jews from Spain. But this unique synagogue has its own melodies that they brought from Greece, which are thousands of years old.
So you don't have to be, you said Jewish, but you still
No,
are
Greek. I was saying, do you have to be a Greek Jew?
No, you don't have to. No.
But the women and the men are still separated.
Yes,
Okay.
we still hold to the Orthodox. Judaism has three levels there: Reform, Conservative, and Orthodox. And in the Orthodox, which is what the synagogue was and hopefully will remain, women are upset. It has nothing to do with sexism, has nothing to do with that. It's the way they did things back then for various reasons.
The most important is the women are upstairs, they can tell the men what to do downstairs.
But as Marvin said, think about this tradition was before Christ.
Right.
Just to give you a sense, you mentioned Byzantine, but it took me a long time to figure out what that meant. But it's easy to say this has been around longer than Christ, before Christ was around.
You guys went to the Tenement Museum?
Yes.
Did you see the movie, or the movie?
They didn't know it was closed. We got there for the evening
Okay.
tour.
And if you ever get a chance to come back again, there's another synagogue on Eldridge Street. It's called the Eldridge Street Synagogue. It took 20 years and $20 million to restore that synagogue. And it's beautiful. If you go in there, you think you're in Prague, Czechoslovakia. That's how beautiful it is.
We were on our way.
Not saying that ours is beautiful.
Yours is very nice. We were going to walk to the decrepit one that's not open anymore. That's
The one
The
that-
Olive Stock.
Yes.